from a financial standpoint, retirement really has one of two outcomes. Either you outlive your money or your money outlives you. Most people don't know the answer to that question. Which one is it going to be? Most of them don't even know that that's the question.
Welcome to the Blue Collar Millionaire Show. I am your host, Chad Hufford, and this is the podcast where we celebrate the unsung heroes of the working world. Each week, we dive into the incredible stories of honest, hardworking folks who have found financial success through grit, determination, and good old-fashioned elbow grease. So if you're ready to be inspired and learn how to turn your hard work into your own success story, you're in the right place. This is the Blue Collar Millionaire Show.
So when we are helping people plan for retirement, what we really focus on is having a not only sustainable, but an evergreen source of income.
Okay.
Because as we've talked about before, it really does come to that down to that binary question. Will you outlive your money or will your money outlive you? We have some people that say like, well, I worked hard for this money and I want to die with my last dollar in my hand. And that works if you know exactly when you're going to die and you hate your family, don't want to leave anything behind.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yes. And we don't work with people like that. We believe that money is more like a river, that as it flows, it widens and deepens as it goes. And you should be able to leave a bigger legacy and a better legacy that goes way beyond money than what you started with. I think part of that is even the stewardship of that money and teaching your potential heirs how to manage and anyways, but that's beyond the scope of this discussion. But really we want our clients' money to outlive them. And that's why we use the metaphor of the orchard. It's you plant this orchard for years and years and years. Eventually you get to the point where the orchard is large enough, produce enough fruit, you can live off that orchard, but you never bulldoze the trees. Those trees then get passed down. Your money outlives you. The source of your income outlives you. And in breaking from the metaphor and going very realistic and specific, I mean, we are owners of companies. Mm-hmm. Most of our clients are living off of the earnings of the companies they own through mutual funds, but they're not actually on a regular basis liquidating capital. They're pretty much just living off of the earnings. So the money can outlive them. Now, the flip side of that, you outlive your money. You don't have that freedom. You're worrying about, how do I have to contract my lifestyle? You're worrying about becoming a burden to your loved ones. You're living in fear. There's this whole description or concept of accumulation phase and decumulation phase in retirement. You accumulate for years, then you start decumulating. Well, for somebody who's a natural saver, you retire, you have most financial and time freedom you've ever had in your life, but every day you're getting closer to poverty. That's not a fun way to live. So getting your money to outlive you is the goal, and enjoying the fruit that money produces along the way.
So whether it's like equities versus bonds or, various conversations that we have, you've talked about, we've had lots of conversations about risks and like which things are true risks versus, kind of the myth of a lot of things. What you're describing then is, maybe this is overly simplistic, but if you've got a retiree that they want to be really conservative, and again, we'll just use the example of, hey, so they just stuck it in a savings account. So you're saying like somebody, they're 80, they've got $1 million left, and then they're 81, maybe now they've got 900,000, and then they're 82 and they've got 800,000, and so on and so forth. And they've got to make some extreme decisions of working at Walmart, pulling less, moving in with their grandson. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And we've had several people mention to us, well, knowing my family has lived past 80. So we have enough money to make it to 85. So pretty good buffer.
So because they're even giving themselves extra time.
Buffer.
Okay.
Which is, again, that's fine. But I've told you, I don't want to sit in front of you as part of the steward of fiduciary to your long-term future when you're 84 and a half and you're not quite dead yet. That's not a conversation I'm willing to have. So, in that 80-year-old, maybe they'll die before their money runs out. Maybe they die 82, 83 and it's fine. But I guarantee you that person is not feeling financially free, taking a step further into poverty every single day. And we just believe that with financial planning, your financial plan shouldn't depend on anybody dying to make it work. Whether that's your parents dying so you get their inheritance,
Right.
or you or your spouse dying soon enough to make your plan work. Nobody should have to die to make your financial plan work.
Right. Is that what, if average life expectancy is a big piece of the retirement planning tool, is that's basically what's happening?
Well, so the average life expectancy of a retiree is so long that you almost have to assume that the money goes on indefinitely. Again,
Well, isn't it in America? Isn't it like 80 or 75 or?
so the tool that we use, or not the tool, the concept we use is joint life expectancy, which is the life expectancy of the last survivor. So
Okay, so if I'm married,
so you and Carrie, let's fast forward, you're 62 years old. I mean, right now the average is early in the year, but according to the Department of Labor and Statistics and Social Security, the estimating the average retiree this year will have been born in 1964.
okay,
The life expectancy for the joint life expectancy for a non-smoking couple born in 1964 is about 30 years. So said another way, if you have a 62-year-old couple and they're non-smokers, there is probably at least a 50-50 chance that one of those people is making it well into their 90s.
okay. So it's not just what am I likely? It's between both of us, making sure the household does not get drained of money.
Right.
Okay.
And again, going back to that example, like maybe you do have some genetic issues or something like that, and you're not likely to make it much past whatever the age is. Now, we have some folks that have lived 5, 10, 15 years past terminal diagnoses. But if you like your spouse, and again, we don't usually work with people that come in here and they don't like their kids or their spouse, but you're protecting their life too. So that idea of that orchards continue, the trees still grow. Yeah, you're drawing the fruit every month, but the trees still grow. You don't have to worry about when does your life end? When does the life of your spouse end?
Yeah.
You could live 15 years or 50 years into retirement, but you're not worrying about that. So that's the duration of income. The other really important part of this equation is direction of income. Is will your money increase at least the rate that your expenses do?
Okay.
And going back to 1964, if we look at what $100 purchased in 1964, the goods and services, it takes roughly $1,000 today to buy what $100 did 62 years ago. So we have to look at, well, that you're probably not going to live 62 more years, but even in 20 or 30 years, your costs could double, maybe even triple without changing your lifestyle. This isn't your lifestyle, because this is just simple loss of purchasing power due to inflation.
Wow. So you've talked about some things not to do, and some things to do, where to focus in retirement planning. What's the difference between being prudent and being fearful, as somebody is planning for their long-term finances?
We mentioned something earlier about being conservative, and we might just, our industry, I think, has misused that. They've abused that word, actually, because what people try to conserve is their principal.
Right.
The amount of the number of units of currency that they have today, rather than the purchasing power of their investments. And it's the purchasing power of their investments that give them the financial freedom to be able to leave their job, to be able to go on vacations, to chase kids and grandkids around, all these different things. It's a purchasing power thing. So that's what we want to conserve. So we have to change, I think, how we even look at conservative versus risky. Going into a rising income world with a fixed income is incredibly risky. And I don't think after these last few years, anybody would argue with us that we have a rising cost world. Again, even if your lifestyle stays flat,
right?
Some people even tell us, well, I'm going to be doing less of all these things. I'm going to be older. my cash flow needs, my income needs are going to go down. Almost never happens. Been doing this for almost 20 years. I rarely ever see it because, man, as you get older, it just takes it takes more money and it gets more expensive to keep you comfortable. Even if you do less of the things that you like doing, and when you don't have to go to a job anymore, chances are you're going to want to do more of those things. So if we take that as kind of our assumption that cost will rise over time, one of the riskiest things you can do is take a fixed income into an increasing cost world. So that is the big risk, is how do you double or even triple your income in retirement? And to do that, you have to have a more growth oriented investment. Now, it will be more volatile in the short term, but investing in broadly diversified equities through mutual funds, so you're owning pieces of 8, 10, 12,000 different companies, broadly diversified, it will be volatile. What you're doing is you're taking more temporary uncertainty for more long-term security. What many investors do today, Logan, is you've seen this was when you've been here, since the time you've been here, so many people, they put their money into fixed income because it's stable today.
Right.
What they do is they trade away long-term security for temporary comfort.
Right.
They put their future at risk to be comfortable in the moment. And it's a terrible, terrible trade.
And that's basically like, I've got $1 million and I really don't want to see that number go down. Right. And that's the most important thing to me, is it doesn't ever go down to 990. And I don't care about it going up. I don't need it. I just want it to not go down, right?
Yeah, I mean, an extreme example. And again, they're trying to protect units of currency instead of protecting what that money buys. So let's say you take that same $1 million, you put it in the safest vault that you can, like, Ocean's 13 level security and things like that. But it's only $1 million. It's not worth Daniel Ocean coming and stealing it from you. And in 20 years, you come take it out. You will have maintained 100% of your units of currency.
Right.
But the value of that in 20 years with average inflation at just 3%, you lose roughly 50% of your purchasing power. So you might say, I have preserved all my currency. And I would say, yes, but you've lost half your money.
Right.
Because money should really be defined as purchasing power, not units of currency. Financial freedom comes from purchasing power. Sustained growing purchasing power. People focus and try to protect units of currency, and they end up fighting the wrong battle.
If somebody had the mindset of, the conservative mindset, and we're doing air quotes because it's not actually safe, it's not conservative. If somebody comes in with that type
of conserving the wrong thing.
True,
it's conserving the wrong variable. Yeah.
So if somebody comes in and you're talking and they sort of they understand what you're talking about. They're like, okay, I don't want to be the person that's going, oh shoot, I'm 84, I'm still alive, I need to die soon. They don't want to do that. And so you're helping them with financial planning. What is something that you're going to be treating very differently? What's something you're going to be doing very differently than maybe an advisor who doesn't think that way?
Well, one of the things we are going to focus on is the growth of your income throughout your life, rather than just protecting your principal, because it might frighten you. And you asked a question about, how do you deal with risk and being fearful? So I guess to concisely, or to sum that up, I would say it's number one, you have to change your view of what risk is. And the whole point of the last 30 years of saving and investing was sacrificing a little in the present to be better off in the future. Why would you change that now when you're retired, and protecting principal at the risk of future income? And now that you're retired, you are now sacrificing the future for the present. We still want to be living in that mindset of I'm gonna pay a small price now for a huge benefit in the future. And what that price is volatility. Yeah. Now, here's the beautiful part about this, Logan, is you're living, if you've planned this right, and this is how we plan. We plan for lifetime income in retirement. Your principal can fluctuate. That doesn't mean your income does. Without getting too much into the details, I mean, just this last year, there was about a 20% decline in broad markets back in the spring. I don't know of a single client that got a reduced retirement paycheck during that time. because we have planned for those things. So even in the midst of that fluctuation, their fluctuation of principal, their fluctuation in units of currency,
Right.
their income and their purchasing power remain stable.
Okay. Do you see a balance between like generosity and security and legacy? Those three things. Is it wise or healthy to seek a balance between all three things as somebody is, moving towards this chapter of their life?
Generosity, legacy, and
insecurity.
I think they're all intrinsically linked, because if you don't feel secure, it's really hard to be generous. Like,
Okay.
I think it's where a lot of stinginess comes from. A lot of greed comes from insecurity. You might look at somebody who is worth $100 million, like they're so greedy. They're probably still insecure.
Okay.
Not to try to take this in a new direction, but a lot of times people try to fill a void in their heart or even in their character with more tangible things. Now, it might not be money. It might be fame or status or prestige or whatever.
Right.
But you can't fill deep-rooted human needs with money. You're still going to feel a void. The problem is we double down on that. Like, oh, well, money, $10 million didn't solve it. Maybe 20
Right.
will. So that's where I think you see a lot of greed, is people try to fix a spiritual, emotional issue with more money. And that greed is actually stemming from insecurity. Secure people are more generous. And leaving a legacy isn't just an inheritance. Now, that is one of the side effects. So just to clarify this for our listeners, the idea of having your money outlive you is not for legacy. It's not for your beneficiaries. It's because we don't know when you're going to die, and we don't want to have to worry about it, but we don't want you to have to worry about it. You will enjoy everything you do so much more in retirement, knowing that even though you have an expiration plan, your retirement income strategy doesn't.
Right.
You don't have to die to make your plan work. So every vacation you take, everything you do, you will enjoy it more. But the side effect of that is there is a potential legacy to leave, but it cuts both, or it's actually on both sides of your tombstone, because yes, there is a legacy to leave. Your orchard gets to be passed on.
Right.
But what we've seen in people, because their income grows throughout retirement, they're more secure and typically more generous because their income is actually increasing. Like the example that you said, if somebody is 80 years old and they're spending $100,000 a year and they have $100,000 less, the closer you get to zero, the less secure you're feeling, the less legacy you're leaving, and the less generous you'll probably be able to be. If you're now 88, 89, you've got your last 100 grand in there, you're probably not going to be as generous as you were when you were 80.
Well, and I can't help but think about everything besides money. I would imagine that the fact that that's happening, 700, 600, 500, in these round number examples, right? But we do see this happen in real life all the time. That person is, I would think, they're not going to be able to just throw themselves into life with their grandkids and with their kids and with their church or different organizations they want to volunteer. Like, that's not going to be where their mind and their heart's at, because they don't know where they're getting food. So
when you don't have to worry about you, it's amazing how much freedom you have being able to step into the needs of other people around you.
Yeah.
And what you just said is absolutely true. When such a basic fundamental need of not being able to feed yourself, and maybe it's a little extreme. Like, I mean, yeah, most of the people, you'll have some sort of safety net, whether it's a Social Security or something. But 50% of retirees over the age of 65 rely on Social Security as a primary source of income.
Yeah.
They might not be broke on a park bench, but they can't do anything but basic necessities.
Right.
They're worrying about themselves.
Right.
And they're not able to help other people around them as much. But the flip side of that is, if you know that you have an income that you can't outlive and that grows at least as fast as your expenses do, your ability to be very generous and impact the lives of other people is unleashed, because you're no longer worried about you. And you know what? You're not worried about losing your job because you already gave it up. Or maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know.
Right.
But you don't need it. So many of your worries have gone away. Man, right now, as we're recording this, it's like 20 below. If the the heater goes out in my house, I can replace it. That's going to sting. I'm not going to like it, but I can do that.
Right.
If you know, if something happens, an emergency comes up, we have emergency fund. I can now worry about other people because I'm less worried about myself. And I think that's where the basis of generosity is.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I want you to just share what you said at the very top here. I mean, the fundamental question when it comes to retirement planning is what? How did you put that?
From a purely financial standpoint,
Yeah.
It boils down to basically one question. Will you outlive your money, or will your money outlive you?
That's good.
One other way to say that is you probably don't have a plan to run out of money in retirement, but do you have a plan not to?
Good way to put it. Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Loeb.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time on the Blue Collar Millionaire Show.
Thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Millionaire Show. We hope this episode has been inspiring and beneficial to you. If you want help on your journey to financial freedom, reach out to us at veritasalaska.com. We'd love to sit down over a cup of coffee with you, either here in our office or virtually, and get to know you and your needs. And though this podcast is free of charge, we do ask that you please do us two quick favors. If you enjoyed the episode, give our pod a great rating on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you use, and also give us a follow on Instagram. We hope you have a wonderful day filled with gratitude and intentionality. God bless.